Hello everyone, welcome back to Crafts by the Bow. Today I want to show you some of the covered notebooks I make, and usually I make these for craft fairs, but of course this year we're not having any craft fairs, so I'm just going to be making them for gifts. These are the ones using the composition books, and you can see I've covered these with paper. These are actually from last year. I've covered them with paper and I always pop a little bookmark in and a pen. But this year I couldn't get any of these books at a decent price because we didn't go down to the States, and here in Canada nobody seemed to have them in the sale when I was looking. I make the little tiny notebooks as well, and I think these are the books that I bought from Dollar Tree last year. And again I put a little pen in, and these are great for just a little purse size. Well, this year I wanted to make books, but I couldn't find the books I wanted. So I went into our Dollarama and I found these books. They're a bit smaller than the composition books, but I actually liked the paper that was in there, and I thought I would show you how to cover one of these. Now, I have already covered one, and you can see that I've used card and designer series paper and the poinsettia petals set, and I did make a pen that matched. It wasn't one of the usual RSVP pens that I put in, where you can put a lot of paper. It was just an ordinary Z-grip pen, and I think I got them from Costco. And you can take them apart and put a little piece of paper in, but I do much prefer the Pentel RSVP ones. They're so much easier to get the paper into. But I want to make this one for a child. So I'm going to show you how to turn just an easy Dollarama, Dollar Tree book into something that would be nice for a stocking stuffer. Now, first of all, I need to take this little thing off. And I found it's better for me to cut it, because if I pull it off, the little wire binding, it's not the strongest of wire, and so sometimes you end up pulling it out of shape. So let's just get this chopped out. And we'll pull that piece out. There we go. And then they've got like a little, it's a plasticky cover on these, but on the back it's card. And usually for these ones I use 12 by 12 papers, and it works out really easily because I cover the whole book. But for these Dollar Tree ones, the Dollarama ones, I beg your pardon, I put a cardboard cover on. You can take this cover right off, the green cover, and put card or paper over the whole thing, and then go through and punch every hole with a hole punch. But honestly, I didn't want to do that today. I was too lazy. So what I decided to do was to put a card mat on and then my designer series paper. And I have already cut all of this, and what I found was, because my paper is 6 by 6, I'm using the Whale of a Time paper. I had to be mindful that I couldn't go any higher than 6 inches with my paper. So I cut my paper at 6 inches and then my card just 1/4 of an inch bigger. If you wanted another layer as well, you could cut another 1/4 of an inch larger piece. But I actually thought that sat on the front quite nicely. And to attach this, I found on this plastic that the best thing to use is tear and tape. I did try with my stamping seal and I tried with my liquid glue, but I didn't felt that it held as firmly as the tear and tape. So that's what I'm using this time. On my composition books, you can use tear and tape, you can use wet glue, you can use stamping seal, anything you want. But just for these books themselves, I found that this tear and tape held much nicer. And you can see it has a little symbol down here, like a little name. I wanted to cover that up, so I just made sure that my card would fit and you wouldn't be able to see that. Okay, I don't want it sticking just there. Let's just take that off. It's just a bit wobbly. Just make sure that I've got the front cover lined up There we go. That's a bit better. And I want it to be just about in the middle. Okay. And then I've cut exactly the same piece for the inside here, just so that you don't see any of the tape showing through. You could cut a third piece to put on the back if you wanted as well. I'm going to leave the back plain, but I am going to cover up this piece on the inside here. Now, these books at Dollarama, they were just $1.25 and they had loads of colours. But I chose darker colours because I didn't want the flimsier colour, well, the lighter colours looked a bit more flimsy. And I didn't want you to be able to see what I was going to put on this page. I didn't want you to be able to see through it. So I just went for the blues and the greens. And I think they had blacks and browns as well. But then they had neon pink, and it didn't work for what I wanted. But depending on your design series paper, it might work for you. Okay, now I'm just going to try and look through here to see where the edges are of the piece of card that I've already put on the front and match it up so that it looks exactly the same. There we go. There we are. Okay, so that's the main part of the cover done. We will come back and do some more work on that. But on these books, they have this little piece in the front with a little pocket. And so I decided that I would just cut some of my scraps of the paper and another piece of the card. I'm actually using Granny Apple Green. And I would just put different ones on here. If you're making this for an adult, it might be nice to make it a bit more like a journal and pop some things inside as well. You could put another piece of card here with a designer series paper as well. Let me find my tape. But I just wanted to put a little bit on the envelope part itself. And because it's only going onto paper, I'm attaching it with Stampin' Seal. And all I did was I measured this little envelope part and made my card 1/4 of an inch less all round, and my designer series paper another 1/4 of an inch less. And I made 2 of these. There isn't one of these envelope pieces at the back, so it's not like you can put any more at the back or on the inside. But what you could do, let me just stick this down. What you could do at the back is to just make like a little triangle pocket yourself, cut out and glue it all the way around at the bottom. And then people could just put little bookmarks or papers inside as well. So there's nothing to stop you doing that. Okay. Now, for the front, on my books normally, I will put a sentiment. But because this one is going to be for a child, I'm not going to put a sentiment. I'm going to put just some little embellishments. And what I'm going to use are the little scrap pieces of the designer series paper that have the turtles and the whales on. And to cut these out, you can cut them with the matching punch. But just be aware that it won't cut out the little one as well. And so if you put a piece in like this, you're going to chop the little one's head off. So I've cut round, and then to hold it in here, you can either use your take a pick tool and hold it in, or this is a piece of a post-it note, which is sticky on the top, and I'm just going to pop it onto this little whale. It doesn't matter if it goes over the design a little bit. And then I'm just going to hold it sort of like you would a lever, and hold it in there, line up so that you've got the same kind of border all the way around. Oops, a bit fiddly. There. Just punch it out. And then if you've got any little bits of post-it note over it, just peel it off. And that way you can use just the tiniest scraps to go in your punch as well. So that could go up here. And then you can cut the little one out by hand. I do have another one, I think, that I've already cut out. Yeah, here we go. So I'll probably put these 2 on here. I do have some of the little turtles already cut out as well. And I'm just going to attach them just like this. just to make a picture on the front. I'm going to put them on with wet glue though, so I can get up to the edges a little bit better. And I wanted there to be some kind of design on the front, but I'm not sure I needed to have a sentiment and everything. Let's just pop him down there. And then pop these little whales on as well. This is a really pretty set of paper, and I've used it a lot already. I think this is actually my 3rd pack of it. I made lots and lots of birthday cards with it. And I made some gift boxes for cards, and I used this paper for the front. And oops, it really is a pretty paper. And there's lots of designs where they're just a plain background, so you can cut out or you can punch out the little pieces. There is a stamp set that goes with it as well, but I tend to use the pieces and punch them out instead. Now, when you do use this punch, you'll see it has this little bit water piece as well. So I've actually punched that out in a Night of Navy, but it would be nice in a sparkly little paper as well. And I'm just going to pop this near the mummy whale. Let's get that last little piece. Oops. I might have to just wait till that dries and then rub off the extra so it's not sticky. Okay. Now, I did say that I always add a bookmark, and I find the bookmarks are the easiest things to make, and you use up lots of little scraps. You don't need much in the way of paper. So my bookmark is always the same. I'm going to put these here just so you can see. I put that one side to dry. So I start off with a card base. Here I've got the Granny Apple Green, and it's 2 inches by 6 inches, and I use one of the tag toppers. Now this one, I think this is called the scallop topper. Just give me 1 second to look. I know I did mark the page. This is the scalloped tag topper. On last year's, I used the Delightful tag topper. You can see it's just a little bit different, a little bit fancier. But the scallop tag topper is a really pretty one too. And the gap here is 2 inches. So I always make my main base card 2 inches, and then I know now I've got the full value of the size, and a 2-inch piece is not much at all. So it's 2 inches by 6 inch, and then I've put it through and scalloped the top. And then I wanted to put my designer paper on as well. But I find that if I try and match this piece up, I can get the scallops to match, but I can't get this little hole where your ribbon goes to match. So I just don't even worry about that. I put my rectangle of card further down. And this white layer is 1 3/4 by 5. And my designer series paper is just a little bit narrower at 1 5/8 by 4 7/8. And then I've used 8 inches of twine, and I've used the matching, 8 inches of ribbon. I've used the matching ribbon. I've used the Pool Party sheer ribbon. But because it is sheer, what I did was I just cut 2 pieces. So instead of 8 inches, I've done 2 8-inch pieces. And then I've just tied it in a bow. And usually to make this size bow, I need about 9 or 10 inches of twine. And then I've cut out another one of the whales, and this time I put him up on dimensionals. And let's see. So I will have my little bookmark there. And for pens, I had a look in the dollar store, and I found these little mermaid ballpoint pens. I think these were $1.50. Yeah, $1.50. And I thought they would go really nice with it. I found some, this is in a different store in the States. I found these little dolphin pens that I've had for a couple of years, and they would go really nice with this theme. And I also found in Dollarama for $2.50 this little pack of 10 ballpoint pens, and I thought it would be just, let's just take these out. Pretty cute to have a couple of pens with them. And then I would just put them in a cello bag, and that's how I'm going to sell them as stocking stuffers. So I hope you give that a go. Pop into the dollar store or the pound store, wherever you live. Find yourself some little books. Just measure in to see how big your card is. Use little scraps and your smaller pieces of designer series paper, and they would make great little stocking stuffers. So I might put something on the back. I haven't quite decided. I know I said no, but actually I love this paper so much, I'd probably end up putting some in. You could even put little bookmarks in here too. So I hope you enjoyed that project. I'll be back again next week with another Christmas craft that I want to make. And so I'll see you all soon. Thanks ever so much for watching, everybody. I really appreciate it. Bye-bye.